And there was no problem with the city. It was just they didn't want it anymore.
Yeah, their ordinances are a little funky with reptiles and animals in general. They don't really allow any animal sales in their city. I guess they had a huge problem with like dog breeding, so they wanted to put an end to that.
Welcome Adventures. In this episode, I speak with Chris Green. He owns Zev Green Reptiles, breeds bearded dragons, and started a new reptile show. All this began 2 years ago. Learn how he accomplished this all in such a short time. Buckle up and join us. To the music! Welcome Adventures. Today I have Chris Green. Can you introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Chris Green, reptile breeder and show promoter.
How would you define yourself? I guess you probably just did, but can we say it again?
Yeah, reptile breeder and show promoter. I also do
Mhm.
landscaping as my normal job.
What was your first exotic pet?
My first one was a veiled chameleon, female. I got her like 2017, I want to say. I didn't have her very long because I was still kind of young and moving around and didn't really know exactly how to keep them. So I think I had her for about 6 months before she passed away, and then I didn't keep reptiles for a while.
So while it's in the shot, who's that behind you?
Oh, that's Zazu.
Hmm.
That's my green cheek conure.
Wow, those are neat. I used to really like the sun conures. I actually had one for a while, but I didn't get a tame one, and it was really loud and made a big mess, and so we stopped having them. We love pets here, of course. What's your favorite exotic pet that you've had?
That's hard. I think either my panther chameleon or I have a blue tegu that I really like.
Okay. Yeah, usually people have a top three or four or what have you, so it's good you can even get it down to two. So if you could have any exotic pet and there were no laws or rules about it, what would you actually have?
I think I already have them. I don't really want anything else. Really, I'm not into snakes. I mean, I like snakes, but I don't really want to keep them. I'm not into any venomous reptiles, so I don't really like crocodiles or nothing like that. So yeah, I pretty much got what I
Great,
wanted.
that's awesome. That's perfect. What other exotic pets have you kept along the way?
So right now I have bearded dragons, iguana, a pixie frog, and just panther and a veiled chameleon now, and along with the tegu. Mostly working with bearded dragons.
The iguana, what's that one like?
So the iguana, he's only a couple months old. He's a zero orange iguana.
Those are really cool.
Yeah, he's real pretty. His body's only like that big.
So it's an
Yeah.
iguana of the green type, but it's not green, obviously. But it's an iguana.
Right, yeah, it's orange. Yeah, it's a light orange.
Yeah,
And he's got his cool his head is all white and he's got some interesting patterns on his flap on his neck.
that's really cool. I've seen those before, but I at
Yeah.
Tinley, I think I saw one. Those are really cool.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see how he looks when he gets
I
older.
have a fondness for iguanas since I my first reptile was an iguana that my wife got for me before we were married. It was just a little baby green iguana, and I had it for like 15 or 17 years. Almost since then, I've had an iguana. At this point, I've moved to have a pectinatus instead to replace the last iguana that
Uh-huh.
passed. I don't know if I'm going to want another green iguana or not. I've had like 10 or 15 over time. I always get them from the rescue because they get so big people want to give them away, and so I feel bad for them, and I take them up, and I.
Right. No, my neighbor when I was a kid, they had iguana, so I pretty much grew up with one. I just never owned one till now. That thing was huge, but he was so cool. He never tried to bite anybody. He would just hang out, roam around. They kept him outside when it was warm.
Yeah, I made an outside cage and an inside cage. Then the outside cage became the inside cage. I put it on wheels so I could move it back and forth because it was the bigger cage. So I decided to keep them in
Nice.
that. But I've had many over the years. I had a couple of back when I didn't know any better. I had a male and female together. We called them Spike and Kitty because Spike was a cool name and Kitty was a name from one TV show that they had an iguana named Kitty. and I wasn't very original back
Oh,
then. I
nice.
think we had them backwards. I think Spike was the female and Kitty was the male, but they lived together in a cage and for 17 years without any issues or concerns. But that was a rarity. I don't think you could do that at this point. Unless you start them out really young. So, anything else that you'd like to keep that you haven't kept?
Not really, no. Nothing that I've seen that really interests me, Like I said, I've got everything that I wanted pretty much.
You have Zev Green reptiles. What is that?
So that's my for my breeding my
Hmm?
bearded dragons.
So, how long have you been breeding bearded dragons?
So I started last year. It'd be about a year, coming up on a year now.
Do you have specific morphs, or are you
Yeah.
breeding for any particular purpose? Or
Yeah, pretty much I have all the
hmm?
morphs right now. I'm working on producing zeros. I'm really working on producing like burnt orange, really bright burnt orange dragons, really vibrant colors.
Cool. There was a couple of vendors at Tinley that had
Yeah,
the really, really bright oranges.
I've seen a few. They're like I don't know how to explain. It's almost like a neon color that they look like. I'm trying to get to that.
So how long do you think it'll take you to get there? You don't know.
Couple years at least.
So how many breeding pairs do you have, or how are they arranged?
So right now I only have one pair, but I have a few that are growing up still that are for the future. So then I have a few males that I need to get females for. I'm working on doing that actually right now. I was on Morph Market earlier looking at dragons.
That's a great place, and
So
it's got even better since the new guy in charge, the Dubia.com guy, got in charge.
yeah, it definitely has. Just not a lot of pickings for adult dragons right now.
There are more and more people who get reptiles, and more people love it, and there seems to be so much room. Everybody opens up shows, and people come. And then Tinley was as big as it's ever been this year, so it's kind of odd this year, but it's been really good. Whereas like after the pandemic, people started getting rid of dogs and things like that they had during the time. Reptiles doesn't seem like they got rid of them, so it's a good thing for them at least.
A lot of new people are getting into reptiles. It seems like nowadays.
So when did you go to your first reptile show?
Oh, last year
That
actually
was your
too.
first reptile show that you ever went to? Is last year?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
You've gone a long
yeah.
way in a year. Started breeding dragons, vending
Yeah,
at a show, having your own show we'll talk about later. But wow, that's incredible. So, all right. So, when did you start vending at
yeah.
them?
I used to do like last year too. Everything
Mhm.
was last year.
What brought this about?
So
Did some change in your life or something happen? Or
yeah. Well, before in my life, I wasn't really doing anything. It was kind of just
Mhm.
goofing off. So and then I remember that I loved chameleons. I've always loved reptiles. I used to catch frogs and snakes always when I was a kid. I used to always
Mhm.
love doing that. And so I finally just get my head back on my shoulders and figured out what I
Mhm.
really loved and got back into it and just went head in deep.
Okay, so tell us about your show. How did you get to decide to have a show, and what was it like, and what was the process to get there?
The whole main reason why I wanted to have a show was I was vending shows and they're always so far away and I'm like, why isn't there one by me? So I'm just thinking like I need to have one by me, and so then I started planning things out, just finding venues and talking to people for vendors, and it seemed like there was a real need to have one there. People were real excited that I was having one where it was at. And so I started talking to the city, making sure it was all right. And then I got them on board, and so I started getting more vendors. I put the deposit down on the venue, and then I had a bunch of trouble with them going back and forth. They said I couldn't have it, and I could have it, and
Would you
so
mind saying what city this was? It was in Michigan, right?
yeah, it was in New Baltimore, Michigan.
Okay, that's near Detroit.
Yeah, it's about 15 miles from Detroit.
So you actually ended up having one show already, correct?
Yeah, they let me have the one show one time in New Baltimore, and then I had to they won't let me have it there anymore, unfortunately. So
Wow.
I had to find a different city to move it to.
Nothing bad happened. It's just they let you have it once and that was it. Wow.
Yeah, it was a great show. Everybody was happy. The venue I had it at, they were real happy, and they have their own vendors at the venue, and all the vendors were super happy. They never seen so many people there. So
So how many people did you have there?
vendor wise, or people show up.
Both, I guess.
So we had 29 vendors,
Hmm.
or no, not 29. It was 29 tables
Hmm.
with I think like 19 vendors,
Hmm.
and yeah, 1,000 people came that day.
Wow, that's a huge show.
Yeah,
That's not a huge show, but that's a huge amount for a first show. I guess what I'm trying
it
to
was
say.
great.
Mm,
It was great.
wow. And I heard that you actually told us that you had so many people there that the ATM machine ran out of money, didn't it?
Yeah, both of them. There was two ATMs. Both ran out of money in like an hour.
Wow, that's a good thing for you and the vendors, I guess, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. And so you decided you were able to take cards there at the front, or?
Yeah, luckily I have a card reader for my phone.
Mhm.
Otherwise, people weren't planning on having to bring cash.
Wow.
I made a mistake in not making a post on the Facebook post saying to bring cash or cash only.
It was successful. Were the vendors happy about it?
Oh yeah, everybody said they did great.
Hmm.
They were real happy. Everybody wanted. I got pretty much everybody to come back.
Hmm. And there was no problem with the city. It was just they didn't want it anymore.
Yeah, their ordinances are a little funky with reptiles and animals in general. They don't really allow any animal sales in their city. I guess they had a huge problem with like dog breeding, so they wanted to put an end to that.
Wow.
So they just threw everything out.
Threw the baby out with the bathwater, huh?
Yeah, yeah. I've been emailing with the mayor. I'm hoping maybe they'll change something. They can bring it back there.
Okay.
So
So did you decide to get a new place, or what are you going to do about the show?
yeah, so I went and got a new place in a new city that doesn't have any ordinances against selling reptiles or any animals.
Hmm.
So I don't have to worry about that anymore.
Okay. So where's that at?
That's in Lapeer, Michigan.
Okay.
It's about that's about an hour away from where it was currently.
Okay. So when is the next show?
April 20th.
April 20th. So in Lapeer, Michigan.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's how is that located to with Detroit?
So it's north,
It's north.
about
Okay.
45 minutes north.
Okay. All right.
Hmm.
And what do you call the show?
Southeast Michigan Reptile Expo.
Southeast Michigan Reptile Expo. Okay. You were
Yes.
toying with different words than expo before. I saw in our live
Yeah,
show.
I'm thinking of different names. I haven't really come up with nothing yet. I don't know if I want to change it or if I'm going to change it, but I got different names I'm coming up with.
Okay. So
I don't like because I don't like the name Expo. It kind of I don't know.
not a good name for you, huh? It's not something you like
No,
to think
I
about.
think something else could be better than Expo.
On the live show, we couldn't come up with anything better for you though, but we tried.
So far, I've got Reptizar.
Mhm.
I don't know if I'm going to go with that or not. I don't know if I want to add something to it or leave it like that.
Mhm.
I don't know, Michigan Reptizar or something like that.
There's
I'm
a
not sure
show
yet.
over in New York somewhere today, actually, that's called Rexpo. I've never been to it, but I've heard some people. It's REXPO.
Yeah, I seen that
Mhm.
one. Yeah,
Yeah.
I actually thought of that name too till I saw that one. Say, dang, someone already got it. Yeah, I don't want to choose the same name as someone else. I want to be my own unique name. So who knows? I don't know. I don't know where the shows are going to take me. It could lead into something way bigger than what I even know.
Right. Because NARBC has multiple locations, but we just call it Tinley when we go to that one. So have you ever been
Right.
to the Tinley show?
No, I was wanting to go this year. Just financial reasons couldn't make it out there.
Wow. So you've got your own show and you've never even been to Tinley. So it's strange. I've been there only twice, but the last two shows, and I will not be able to go in fall because of my daughter's wedding, like I've mentioned before. Multiple times. Unfortunately, I told her when he did it, and they put it right on the same day. I don't know how that happened. I thought, but I'm hoping that I can go to next spring. But it was a real cool one this year. So
That was actually why I didn't have a show in March. There was Tinley going on and a lot of other shows going on too. So
okay.
I just skipped March.
So is your
And I
show
went.
like the same weekend or same day every month, or?
Yeah, I'm trying to do it on like the third weekend, third Saturday every month.
Third Saturday every month. In what city is this again? Lapeer, Michigan. Okay, so it'll be Southeast Michigan something or other, whether it's Expo or some other word.
I see. I've been thinking in my mind like traveling around Michigan, even just going to different cities that don't have one, and 'Cause a lot of people have to drive. A
Hmm.
lot of people have to drive an hour or two to get to an expo.
Right.
So
And for me, who's the reptile show reporter, that's no big deal. But for other people, it's not. I also have four shows within an hour. Medina one's only 20 minutes, but they're with that's my main show that I go to because it's the one closest to me, and I've been going to for I don't know. It's been around 35 years, and I think I've probably been going the whole time. But not
wow,
every show, but it's every month, so it's been a long time.
35 years. I can't wait to get to that point.
Just don't let Father Time move any faster than he needs to.
No,
Just
no,
take your
no. I
time
enjoy
and
every minute of it.
yeah, enjoy every minute because you're gonna have to look back at someday and go, "What? Oh my, why have I how I got so old?" Tell them about this show. I mean, um, is it is it a good financial thing for you? Does it cost you a lot of money? Are you at risk for a lot of stuff, or how risky is
Not
it?
really. It does cost a lot of money. It is a kind of a risk. Everything's a risk when you have to put up your own money for something.
Hmm.
It might people might not come. I don't know.
Okay, so what are the expenses? There's the hall, right?
Yeah, I just gotta rent the hall. That's pretty much it. And then I have to get liability insurance too.
What is? How did you find out? I mean, I wouldn't even know where to go to get liability insurance for a reptile show. Where do you go?
Yeah, I just went on Google. I just really just searched on Google and I found a company that does it for animals too. Because some of them won't cover animals. So I just went on Google and searched liability insurance companies for animals, and I found a good one. It's not cheap for one day either.
So besides the insurance for the hall and the hall itself, there are no other expenses.
No, because the tables and chairs are all included with the hall, so
Okay.
there's no problems there. Otherwise, other halls they would have to rent chairs and tables, which I've looked into also.
So how big is this new hall? How many tables will you be able to have?
So I'm doubling the space from the last venue.
Hmm.
I'll have 60 tables
Hmm.
and 40 different vendors.
Wow. Okay. So some vendors take more than one table.
Yeah, some got up to 4 tables.
You can have most of the same vendors and then some, or
Yeah, like I said, a lot of the same vendors from the last show really wanted to come to the next show, so they all decided to come.
okay. How do you decide whether to accept a vendor or not? Do you make a decision with that, or you just take all comers, or?
No, so I pretty much handpicked all of these guys. I just mainly pick people that I know breed animals.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like people that just buy animals to sell them again.
Mm-hmm. Those flippers that
So
we have, I know that's one of those things that they have their place, but if they're not staying to a couple of species, it's kind of hard to know that they're going to take good care of the creatures. So
right, right. Yeah, no, I just like the breeders around from Michigan and maybe other states too, Ohio and Indiana.
mhm. Yeah, because Detroit area is fairly close to the city of Toledo, Ohio, and so I heard you're going to be at the one of the new Toledo show this weekend or next weekend.
Yeah, yeah, I'll be there on Saturday. Yep. Yeah, April 6th. I'll be there Saturday, April 6th. Hoping it'll be a good show. Never been.
Yeah, it's all new, I guess. I mean, it was there before. I was at it before when it was under different management about a year ago, but so it's all new under different management, and so it's going to be interesting to see that.
How's the venue there? Is it pretty decent or
The facility is fair. It's not
yeah?
tremendous or phenomenal like the Cincinnati facility that has probably the most, except for Tinley, which is a bigger monstrous facility. The Cincinnati facility is actually in a ballroom at a Holiday Inn. So like you could
Wow.
actually have a wedding or something there. That's upscale more than I would expect to be, and it's expanded so much that there's tables in the hall and all kinds of stuff. So I've only been to that one once, but it was okay. I mean, then most of them are in a place where you have the animals like the. What I'm trying to say is fair that most of them are at like a fairground or something like that where people have animals. They have the yearly fair and everything else. So, but then there's others that are at trade centers and other locations. There's something like not there's not one at the Cleveland IX Center. It's huge, but expo centers or things like that, or where different places are. Even Northeast Ohio's one is actually on the back of a U-Haul type facility, a hall that you would go to have a wedding or something. And so it's not quite as nice as the Holiday Inn, but it's almost. They don't have any rooms there or anything like that, but it's really strange the type of places they put these different things. So
Yeah, I'm looking forward to vending at the Toledo show.
hmm
Hopefully it'll be good, like I said.
I can't wait to see it. And most of these smaller shows, people say that the vendors do very well because there's a limited number of people, and the vendors seem to do very well, and people come through the door like they pile through.
Yeah, if you only have one choice of animal, then that's all you got to pick
Yeah.
from.
The first Sunday in the month in the Toledo area, there's also a BRM show, which is the next day, and that one was very small, it was tiny, but all the vendors were very happy because there were people coming through that one like you wouldn't believe. You wouldn't think there'd be enough room, but there seems to be tons of people looking for pets and in different areas. So
Especially in Toledo, 'cause I have a lot of people that ask me about my bearded dragons from Toledo and Ohio. I have a couple that are actually living there right now.
saying something about your day job. What's your day job?
Yeah, I do landscaping for my day job.
Okay, is that your own landscaping company or
No, I work for a
you
company.
work for a company? Okay,
Yeah, I've been doing it for a long time now.
is that a Monday through Friday job or is it different or?
Yeah, it's Monday through Friday,
Mm,
all day long.
mm, okay, so what do you do in the winter? You plow
No,
snow
I do
or
snow in the
okay?
wintertime
So it hasn't
when
been
it
a very
snows.
good winter for the snow this winter, huh?
No, it's been horrible. I've never seen it like this actually since I've been landscaping.
Yeah. It seems like in this area, the Midwest, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Indiana, and Michigan, you get like a couple of years where you have tons of snow, then a couple of years we have no snow, then a couple of years when you have
Yeah,
moderate snow, and then it just repeats itself. I don't know what the pattern is exactly. It's almost like the flu. It's the same way. It comes in really bad every 10 years, and then in the between years, it's different things. So it's kind of strange.
I know it seems to be getting worse and worse though every year. Winter seems to be getting a little not as worse as the year before.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah.
When I was a kid, I remember it snowing like every day.
Hmm. That seems like that. I seems like I remember, but I was around for the blizzard of '78, and that was like snow up to the top of your head on everybody's roof. People had to dig themselves out. It was really bad, and I'm not telling a telltale. I was like 9 years old, and it was terrible. It was I actually got left off of school. They canceled school. They left me off behind my house, like the other side of the street. Like you have a house and you have a neighbor behind you, and there was no neighbor behind
Right.
me. There's just an open lot, and I got left off on that side. And it was so tall I couldn't do it. I had to walk all the way down the street to the next block. And luckily, my dad was just driving down the street and picked me up on the way, or I wouldn't have made it. So it was one of those weird things.
I couldn't imagine that much snow.
Yeah, that was it. Was no, it was as tall as me or not, and I wasn't that tall at 8, but I'm not even that tall yet. But hoping to grow still, 50 something years old. No, I don't think I'm going to be any taller. But what are you up to next? What is your next plan?
I'm just gonna be doing more shows.
Hmm.
I want to do the show every month now.
Okay,
So I'm gonna go on this Tuesday actually, and talk to him and see if I can plan out for the rest of the year.
okay, great. So you're going to be in the
Yeah,
same location for sure, and then maybe
yeah,
go float around at some point, or
yeah, maybe.
what is your goal with this?
I don't really have a goal. I just want to see where it goes.
Okay,
The new venue has a whole nother room that's double the size that I have right now. So there's more room to expand there.
wow, that's awesome.
So yeah, I definitely want to try to fill both rooms, and who knows where to go from there. I just want it to be successful every month. I'm trying to get out of not doing landscaping anymore. Trying to make reptile breeding and these shows my full time job.
Yeah, a lot of people
So
do it as a part time, not the reptile shows, but then there are some people who get to the point where they can breed away and they can sell their wares and they usually get into other stuff, 3D printing and what have you, or food or whatever. But then they go and vend at shows and spend the whole. Many of the people who've been on this podcast actually started off with a job and ended up going on to not because they're on this podcast, but I
right,
can't I can't take credit for any of that. But they actually went up and they ended up making it a full-time career.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. The bearded dragon breeding is really taking off for me. I have well, I don't really have a contract, but I have a setup with a reptile store that buys in bulk from me.
That's great.
So I'm gonna try to get a couple more, and I have a lot of demand for my dragons. A lot of people want them. So I'm like I said, I'm in the process of getting more females to start breeding them,
Mm-hmm.
so I can have more available.
So you'd
So
say your goal is to get rid of your day job and start working on these type of reptile things.
yeah,
We'll have
exactly.
to see you back in another year and see where you're at. I think you're going so fast, like 100 miles an hour. 2 years ago you weren't even into this stuff, and now you're trying to replace your day jobs.
That's how I do things usually.
What's next for you?
Really know.
Just making sure you get them done and upgrading and getting more vendors and getting more people through the door and.
Keep promoting my show. I promote almost daily.
Mhm. Yeah, I've been seeing them. I don't know if it's because we're friends on Facebook or what have you, but I see all your. I don't know if I see all of them because I don't know how many you're putting out there, but I see a couple times a day. I see something about your show.
A lot of times that's not me posting them. A lot of times they don't get approved for for a couple days.
Hmm.
So and you'll see them then, and so and then I pay Facebook to advertise too. They keep throwing it out there, but
Hmm.
yeah, you gotta have it in their face. People will forget. I don't want no one to forget.
Yeah, I heard from another person that 50% word of mouth, 25% social media, and 25% someone just drives by and sees the sign, whether they saw a sign on Tuesday for the show on Saturday or if they just saw the sign the day of and they drop by. So make sure you're doing that.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna. I'm getting signs made. I'm getting these custom signs from Amazon made. I want to get like those big flags that you see for businesses. I was trying to get those, but they won't be here in time.
Okay.
So,
Is there somewhere that the venue allows you to put the sign up a week before or the week of, or
no, I haven't really asked them that. I was planning on just putting them around the city.
what else are you into? Your other hobbies or anything else you do?
No, not currently. I was into fishing for a while, but I got out of that. Reptiles take more of my time now.
Were you fishing in the freshwater stuff? I think around here, or did you go in saltwater fishing, or what was it?
Yeah, no, I got a lake that's literally a mile from my house, so I was just going over there.
So if this whole reptile thing takes off and you're a multi-billionaire, will you go back to fishing, or what would your
No,
plans be?
I don't think so. I just do more things with reptiles and animals. I want to travel the world and go see animals in the wild and stuff like that. Just do more of what I love and what I used to do when I was a kid. I used to always love catching big bullfrogs when I was a kid. Big old monsters. Come home all muddy, my mom yelling at me. Yeah, your clothes all muddy. I was
That
catching frogs.
that's what I hear from almost everyone who's into reptiles. Is when they were young, they used to catch things and keep them for a while and then let them go and learn from
I
there.
never got the idea to bring them home and keep them. I wish I would.
Mhm.
No, I was in Virginia. I was trying to catch a water moccasin. Oh, my dad came out. He was fuming. If I had me a little stick, I wasn't trying to catch it by hand. I was trying to do it right.
Probably not a great idea overall, though, but
No.
because they're a little venomous, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, they are.
So, where can people reach you?
Facebook, Instagram. I'm on TikTok. I think I'm on YouTube too. Not as much,
Do you
but
have a specific name for that type of thing, or does the show have a name? Or
all Zev Green Reptiles. It's all underneath that name. I've got a page for on everyone.
okay. So you've told us before, but do you want to tell us again? How did you come up with Zev Green Reptiles? I know your last name's Green.
Yeah, so the Zev part came out. I had a can of my mom's pop sitting by me, and I was just trying to come up with names for the reptile breeding business. So I was looking at him, looking at it. It's called Zevia, Zevia. So then I took the Zev part out of it, and I'm like, well, what can I do with that? So then I took my last name, put Zev Green, and I just put reptiles with it.
Yeah, because I was thinking that there aren't really any green bearded dragons. So I was like, but then I
No, there's
forgot your
not.
last name is Green because I usually just call you Chris. And so I'm like,
Yeah,
oh, that's his last name, not the color of his reptile. So You didn't even get a green iguana. You got a green iguana, but you got an orange one. So you can look you up on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram,
Yeah, I'm all on there.
TikTok,
TikTok
all
too.
that stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
Is there a main one that you look at the most, or
Yeah, I'm on Facebook usually, mostly Facebook and Instagram.
yeah? Because I connect with you over Instagram. I think most times.
Yeah, I don't really post on Instagram though. I need to start doing that more.
It's a little different kind of thing where you have to do it differently. I mean, I do my
Yeah,
pillars every Monday through Thursday each day, and I do one picture, one set on Facebook and one set on Instagram. It's totally different things.
yeah, it's not as user friendly.
You could schedule something to drop whenever you want on Facebook, and when you're on Instagram, you can't really schedule it, so you just have to go back in and put it in draft mode and hit it the next day. Or I usually hit it like after midnight if I'm awake still, but.
Yeah, I haven't figured out how to schedule and all do all that. I just manually do them all.
And then I think I'm thinking I'm doing it after midnight, but on the East Coast it's like, or the West Coast. I'm on the East Coast, of course. On the West Coast, it's only like 9 p.m. when I'm sending it out. So I'm like,
Right.
so people answer, and I'm like, oh wait, I didn't do it for the next day for them, but.
I find sharing stuff late at night works better because then it doesn't show up till the morning. Like you might have shared it at that time, but people aren't seeing it till in the morning time. Sometimes stuff on Facebook doesn't pop up for a while.
Facebook is a daily update for my personal stuff about my life and the troubles I had with my stroke and everything. People see that like 3 days later, so I have to tell them what day it is so that they know what day it
Yeah,
was. At least they see it. All right. Any final words for the adventurers tonight?
yeah. If you're in Michigan, come out to my show on 420.
All right. And when's the next one going to be due? Do you have it planned yet or not?
No, like I'm going Tuesday to figure all that out. I'm gonna plan for the whole year.
So pay attention to Facebook or Instagram, and we can check it out and figure out what your schedule is going to be.
Expo has its own group too on Facebook, Southeast Michigan Reptile Expo.
That's it. So join the Southeast Michigan Reptile Expo group, and you'll know what's happening. All right. Well, thanks for being here today, Chris.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Sean.
If you enjoyed this adventure and want to be alerted when more are available, please click the subscribe and maybe even the bell button. Thank you.